Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New Age Renaissance podcast. We're here today with my good friend, Dr. Tayler Jacob.
What's going on, Hershey?
It's exciting to be here, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. You're one of my favorite people on earth.
Well, I'm honored for that. Same here, same here. You know, you've made so much influence on my journey, so I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah.
And a bit about your story, too, just so the world can know who you are
Yeah.
on this thing. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I would like to know,
Yeah, sure.
I know this is your podcast, but
Sure.
I want to know what's going on with you, too.
Okay, yeah,
You're just coming back from Dubai, bro.
that's right.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we got quite a bit going on at this stage in life. We got the fund going.
Okay.
We've got some incubator projects.
Okay.
And you know, at the end of the day, the thing I'm proudest of is the team that we have together.
That's right.
And you know, typically when you look at hedge funds like the show billions, you see people that are money hungry, money crazy,
Yeah.
that'll screw each other over to
Yep.
get ahead. But our team really has that heart, and we'll put each other ahead.
Yeah.
And my CMO said something to me just last week that blew me away, completely humbling and honoring me. And he was saying, you know, I'm not really worried about how much I'm getting compensated today, because I truly believe that end of day, you're going to compensate me greater than I would even ask for myself.
Wow. And that talks
Yeah.
about, that shows the character of you, Hirsch.
Thank you, man.
Which is why he's one of my most favorite people on earth. I got a
Let's
gift
go.
for you, Hirsch.
Yeah, already?
Okay, I got a gift, man. Okay, so here's a secret, okay? I always try to give Hirsch like some things that he could take away, that he can mull over, that he can learn on, because with Hershey, I think the best gift for Hershey is information. Because Hershey is the type of guy that if you give him the information, especially if it resonates with him, he's going to internalize it, he's going to study it, he's going to implement it, and then you're going to literally see it manifested. So I got a couple of things. For you. First thing, we got you some gifts. We got you a shirt, and then we got you our jackets.
Beautiful.
Now,
Sick. Sporting the merch.
yeah. So the beautiful thing about those, Hirsch, is that nobody can buy it.
Sick.
Those are gifts that can only be given if we actually believe that you're somebody that embodies what our brand represents. And our brand represents integrity. Our brand represents loyalty. Our brand represents like just greatness. So when you see somebody in that, just know like they earned it. It wasn't
Sick.
nothing they could purchase. And all of that stuff, even from the shirt, those are shirts that are made from scratch at a manufacturer. So these are fabrics that are put together to create the stuff that we have.
Beautiful.
And then I have
Thank
some
you.
books for you, bro. All right, so on your journey of growing your fund, your incubator, you need some stuff that can just help you be better. And so we have our book, Lunch Like a Pro, and the ACE method. Lunch Like a Pro is the exact blueprint that we use launching every product, every brand, and every service that we ever have. And every time we follow these protocols, we've never not made less than $50,000 to $100,000 on a launch. So now you have our blueprint there.
Thank
and
you
then
very
the
much.
ACE formula is the marketing strategies that we use from there. And then here's my newest book, You're Not a CEO Yet. And this book right here is all of the tips and tricks on how to take yourself from a founder's mindset to operating like a CEO. Because you're running this fund. It was your idea, your baby, you're founder of it. You have 20-something plus staff and team members. And so elevating to the place to where you can actually feel comfortable to have all the skill sets and tools that you need to be a successful, great CEO, being as young as you are.
Yeah.
This is like a Bible for CEO.
Sick.
So here's what
And yeah, this one's a thick one in comparison to the rest. I'm so excited to get through this. This is life changing. I'm excited, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, bro. No problem, Doc. Yeah.
Means the world.
Yeah.
Last time I came here and came by to see you in Dallas, you introduced me to this individual. His name's Bridger Pennington.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And he's got a beautiful course called IFS, Investment Fund Secrets.
Yep.
And that was so life-changing. A year and a half ago, to have the blueprint and the guide to building a hedge fund
Yep.
and understanding the step-by-step. Now, given the blueprint was for doing it in the U.S.,
Yeah.
and so I went and did it in Dubai, so a few things were different.
Okay.
But, yeah, man, truly life-changing. So I value your gifts more than anything else, and
Appreciate that.
thank you for this.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, yeah, you know, I'd love to have everyone understand your journey, because I remember the first time you told me your journey. how you make decisions more than anything.
Yep.
Before you make a jump.
Yep.
I think a lot of people today that have good hearts, that have fire, will get stuck in the wrong business.
Yes.
Right? And it's hard to switch because you end up having too much heart for that person.
Yep.
But you've been able to manage your heart with taking care of the people you love and yourself.
Yep.
So like your decision-making process of when to switch to the next venture, next company, and how you do that is something I'd love to, go through your journey and hear.
Yeah. So I think I never subjugate my gift that I believe God gave me to an industry or an opportunity. And a lot of times that's what happens, Hirsch. We get into an industry where it's the first time we ever made money. We get into an industry where it's the first time that we've done something great. And then you think that your calling and your life is stuck in this thing because that's the vehicle that you started with. And I start with the premise. I actually did a TED Talk on this, Hirsch. And I talk about passion, purpose, and destiny. Okay. And your passion, by definition, is a barely controllable emotion. So when people say follow your passion, by definition, they're telling you to follow something that will eventually fizzle out. Mm-hmm. And all of us lose the fizzle. And so I like to compare passion to fuel. Fuel, if used the wrong way, can burn down a house. It can burn down a forest. It can destroy the world.
Yeah.
But fuel used in the right, proper way can be the ignition or the igniting factor or fuel that can push a vehicle as to the destination it's supposed to go. And so, and when we talk about purpose, purpose is the vehicle of which you're driving to get to whatever destination. Right. So if I wanted to go, how long does it take to get from here in Dallas to Houston, Hirsch?
About 4 hours.
4 hours. You said no question, right?
No question.
If I were to take that same question, if I were to go downtown, and if I were to go to someone who's homeless, who's never driven a car, they've been homeless for a long time in their life, and I ask them, how long does it take?
You're probably going to get like 3 days, right? Because they're thinking about walking.
Exactly. Or weeks, depending on if they're hurt.
Right, sure.
But if I were to take that same question, if I were to go to Highland Park, and I ask someone who's wealthy, how long does it take to get from here in Houston, or here from Dallas to Houston? They're going to say 45 minutes in a jet.
Right, if they're used to the private jet line.
The destination has never changed.
Right.
But the vehicle of choice is what gets me there faster or slower.
Beautiful.
And whatever fuel I need to get that vehicle to that destination is what's the most important. So when I know the destination, where I want to go, who I want to be in life, my vehicle changes depending upon how far or how fast I want to get there.
That's beautiful.
And so when I'm looking at decisions, I'm asking myself in this moment, is this vehicle the best vehicle to get me to my next destination? If it is not, I need to leave this vehicle and transition into a vehicle that can get me there faster or more efficient.
Now question, as a founder, as a CEO who's running your own business, a lot of times you've got people in one venture that are specific to that venture that play a role that does not carry through to the next venture because their skill set does not carry through.
Correct.
I know you're such a caring and loving guy, so like what do you typically do with those type of individuals?
I used to just just leave them there.
Okay.
Because they're well suited there. Sure. They're okay there. They're great in that environment. They're great in that space. And me taking you to my next destination because of the comfort that I feel with you and the time that we had together and the energy that I've invested in you, it doesn't mean that next space that God has called me to is best for you.
Sure.
So it'll be selfish for me to say you need to come with me over here because we spent so much time together. And if I am truly as loving and caring as I say that I am, I also have to think about the best well-being for that person.
Absolutely.
Now, today, the only thing that I would do is I would develop a new CEO to run that division or run that wing or run that company. And as I'm going to another endeavor, that we still have the structure in the company that can provide them the support. I'm just going into a new venture doing the same thing over and over again. So my ideology is a lot different. I used to just leave a new opportunity or leave this business and move on. But I lost so much money just leaving versus saying, how can I keep this business going and running without me so that when I go to my next endeavor, I can still be able to participate in both and not feel like I'm leaving one or the other.
Beautiful. That makes a lot of sense. Now I think shedding a little bit of light on the types of ventures that you're into and who you are today would be really beautiful, actually.
Good. So I professionally, I started off as a teacher. I went to school for education. I got introduced to the insurance industry. I actually been teaching financial literacy since 2012. My first article I ever was in 2013. And I'm only 32, so it's a long time of like doing the work. So young like you, getting in it and getting to it. My first conference ever was in 2014, an International Business and Finance Conference. Okay. And then I actually didn't even know that finance and consulting was an industry yet. I'm just like, I have a passion for business and finance. I'm just trying to figure it out. So I got into the insurance space in 2015. I got my license. And I was building my industry and my charisma ever since then. You know, I was independent. Then I went back and started working for companies, and I went back independent. So you had this process of trying to understand your identity. So when I got into the independent space for the full time, without deviating from it, we built really a global brand. And from building this global brand, educating families on insurance and mortgage asset protection and private banking in over 22 countries. Of course, in America, our insurance is a little different than everyone else around the world, but the principles were still the same. And then from there, we used that insurance company to buy another insurance agency out. And then from there, we bought out 3 tech companies. Wow. And then, the consulting. So now we have insurance, consulting, tech companies that we own. We actually own the first and only fully black-owned bookkeeping and accounting software in America.
Wow.
Yeah. So
quite the title there.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So we're in tech, consulting, insurance. We write books, so publications. So we kind of dibble and dabble, and I don't run all of the companies. I only sit as chair or guiding CEO of the umbrella of all the businesses. And each one of our companies has a CEO and somebody that runs it.
Got it. So it sounds like when we were talking about that prior question about when do you decide to switch to the next business, we talked about it from the side of being the founder and the CEO.
Yeah.
But as you said, you used to be the part of different companies in the past. So when you were more captive and working for other companies, how did you then make that tough switch of saying, hey, this is not the place I want to plant my flag? Because, when you climb a ladder, you get to the top of it and you look around and you're like, oh, shoot, that ladder goes higher.
Yes.
Or that ladder's not as high. You know, so you got to climb back down and then climb up the new one. And it's always tough, right? So how are you able to make that decision while you were captive working with other guys at that time?
Alignment. You got to really be in tune with where you want to be and where you want to go. And so what I looked at was, if I want to be worth 100 million, or $1 billion.
Sure.
There's only one person that can be worth 100 million or $1 billion in this business, and that's whoever's at the top. Sure. Then you look at who is the next closest. Well, that person only makes $1.5 million, and they've been in the business 10 years with the guy, 15 years with the guy, and then the next person is the owner of the company, who controls everything that's worth 30 million, 40 million, 100 million. At the time, it wasn't as high. So then you start to see if my ambitions are as high or as strong as a CEO, it is actually crazy for me to think that I'm going to get at the top of this ladder and be worth just as much as I want to be. So either I'm going to have to spin off on my own to go create that world for myself, or I'm going to have to kill some of my ambitions and settle for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year. Wow. While working within this industry. And at first, when I got started, because I didn't know my capabilities and my skill sets, it was the perfect environment for me. Sure. For me to learn business, systems, operations, sales, learn cash flow, learn those things. Right. But after I learned those skill sets and I became one of the best to do it, now I'm thinking like, okay, I already see my ceiling. And if this is the ceiling, I have to ask myself, am I okay with settling there? And if I'm not okay with settling there, my next question is, am I willing to take the risk to go and get what I believe I want in my life, despite what, obstacles may be in my way? And so that's kind of what makes me kind of make the decision, no, I think it's time. When I'm looking at the top and I'm seeing where I'm going, and I see the trajectory of the pace that I'm moving, and I know for a fact that I'm either going to have to kill my desires or I'm going to have to subjugate myself to the will of this world. And to me, it just didn't make sense. And then the other thing was where all of my work only stayed or resided with that company.
Got it.
So if I stopped working or if I moved to another industry or another thing, all of my revenue, all of my staff, all of my sales team would dissolve into that company, and I can't move away with it.
Wow.
And for me, that's not worth it.
Right.
I want to own everything that I have. I want equity in everything that I've built. I want my renewals to never stop. And for me, that's why the transition made a lot more sense for me. Everyone else is cool with it. That's fine. But if I know I have other ambitions outside of just this industry and outside of just this company, I'm no longer a fit here.
Wow, that's so interesting that you say that, because now it gets me thinking, okay, that guy was making this $30 million. You were making your 1.5, and you weren't able to see a path to get there.
Yep.
Now, you probably, if you were that guy, would want to retain a guy like you, right?
Yep.
And now that you are that guy,
Yep.
how are you retaining that talent?
Yeah, so equity. Giving them understanding where they want to go, where they want to end up. I think it's very important with you as a CEO to understand that, especially when you're dealing with guys and ambitious women, everybody wants your spot. Everybody wants to sit at your same seat. They want to make those decisions. So as a CEO, that's why in the book we write, you're not a CEO yet, because it's not just about the money that you make. It's about having enough capital, having enough room so that when your next top talent, they know that through this organization, I know that if I reach the top and I have an idea for a company I want to build, they're going to invest into that thing with me and allow for me to be able to have my own kingdom and my own journey and my own business or my own desires. And so as an owner, as a CEO, as a leader, you have to ask yourself, is my vision large enough to also encompass all of yours?
Absolutely.
And if it is not, that means if my vision is only 10 million, but your vision also is 10 million, either one, you're going to have to take my spot, or two, I'm going to have to get rid of you or do things that suppress you because there's no alignment there.
Wow.
So with every top leader you have to ask, if all of my top leaders want a life that they're worth 10 million and I got 10, that means I have to be at least at 100 million or $1 billion in order for them to all be satisfied. So it pushes you to continuously grow your vision and grow your focus so that your top folk will stay with you and see that their dreams can be accomplished within your vision and your dreams too.
Absolutely. And it's so fun that you say that, because the line between delusion and genius, it blurs
it's blurry.
Right? It's blurry. Yeah. So, when you have those grand, illusions of grandeur, right? And you think of something so great, sometimes you probably have those late nights where you're like, can I actually make this happen, right? And you have those questions. So through your journey and your process, what would you say have been your hardest hurdles that you've had to face? And also, I've had on my mind, there have been moments of mergers and acquisitions where you come across a guy who expands your vision with the way he thinks, right? That makes you bigger, but it makes you question yourself in a good way and stretch your vision so that you can conquer him rather than him conquering you and taking you over, right? Have you had moments like that?
So to answer the first point, the mistakes that I've made, is when I thought that my ambition made me believe that I deserved to be in a place that my skill set was not ready for.
Wow.
So ambition is a really weird trick. It's a tricky skill that you must master.
Sure.
Because ambition gives you the drive to do the impossible. But if not careful, it'll put you in positions that will make it impossible for you to win.
Wow.
And so when your ambition and your success, especially if you've been winning on a smaller level, then you're looking at other people like, I deserve to be there. Oh, he's that, I can kill him. Oh, come on, dude. And then you're trying to cut corners and find opportunities that can get you to that place faster. Yeah. And then you get to that space and you're like, whoa.
You weren't ready for it.
I'm not ready for it.
Wow, okay.
And when you're not ready for it, that fall down is so much harder because it's like, you got there, but your skill sets are the only thing that can keep you up there.
Right.
And so a lot of us, especially being young and being successful young, we like to look and say, I can get there faster. I can get there quicker. I can get there sooner. And I deserve to be there. And then we put ourselves in the positions to get there. And then the skill sets are not primed. They're not ready. They're not baked long enough. It's like putting something in the oven.
Sure.
You don't have enough experience of seeing different scenarios and examples and losses and wins and lessons that will give you enough substance to keep you in those positions long term. So our ambitions, if done correctly, they will help you conquer the mountain. But if your ambitions, when used incorrectly, the fall is going to be so hard and you're not going to be able to sustain that mountain that you conquered. You're going to die before you get there. And so it's the balance of saying, I feel like I have the skill sets there, but I'm going to wait my time, because with time and experience, once I get there, I want to stay there. I don't want to have to do this like all entrepreneurs go through this. We make the money, then we all at the bottom. We make the money, we go all the way at the bottom. It's because typically and usually you weren't ready for the money you made.
Right.
And your money will always fall and become subjugated to the level that you're really at.
Your identity, right?
Your identity of who you really are and your ability to be able to execute. Now, on the other side of that, have I found someone that can stretch my vision, that helped me see a lot bigger? Yes.
Yeah.
But that was where ambition got in, because that person was willing and able to show me a vision that they couldn't complete themselves.
Wow.
So then I began to believe that we could get there, because I'm leaning on your faith and your belief and what you said we could do together, only for us to get not even close. And then you leave me and I'm handling all of the weight and all of the stuff that I knew I couldn't handle myself.
Right.
And so you end up moving faster. So you got to be secure. You got to be okay with where you are. You have to be grateful with where you are. You have to be, hey, listen, when it's my time, I'm going to be ready. And when it's your time, if you have the skill sets, if you do what you need to do, you're going to not only be able to achieve your dreams, but be able to keep your dreams without falling back down to the wayside.
Yeah. Wow, that's gorgeous. You know, actually shifting gears a little bit, there's different relational aspects to life other than business that really influence you, right?
Yeah.
Two that I'm very curious about in regards to you that have shaped your mentality to be so strong.
Yeah.
I wonder, one, what do your mentors look like? What do you look for in a mentor? Do you have mentors at this stage, or have you become, at this point where you haven't been able to find someone that's going where you want to go, that you've got direct access to today? And then two, what was the difference for you? Because personally, I'm single today.
Yeah.
When you got married, when you started, getting serious with someone while in business, was there a dynamic shift that occurred in your business?
Yeah. So the first thing is there was a point in time where I outgrew my mentors.
Okay.
And they began to tell me, I need you to mentor me.
That's sick.
Which is a weird space to be.
Right.
Because if I'm depending on you for mentorship, but now you're in awe of me, that means that the correction, a mentor's job is to correct you. It's to keep you on your P's and Q's. It's to not always tell you everything is great, but to get on your butt because they've been there. They're able to see where you've been. A coach can direct you where they haven't been. A mentor can guide you because they've been there. And so when I'm looking for mentors, all of my mentors could guide me at the time.
Wow.
But when I got to a position where they can no longer guide me, they couldn't even coach me because they haven't studied the area that I was in. So for about 2 years, I was by myself dealing with roadblocks and blow-ups and all this other stuff that my mentors could not be able to guide me. So now today, I kind of have a collective or a collection of mentors that I kind of dabble in between. You have a mentor that's there for spiritual growth and understanding, that's run a great business. Then you have another mentor that may be great at marketing, but they've been where you want to be. And then you kind of create like this hybrid or this merger or melting pot of all of their best attributes to kind of make your own customized mentor. So I go to each of them for something specific.
So what happens when they give you conflicting opinions?
Yeah, then I gotta trust me enough.
Okay.
I got to trust me enough in the design that God gave me to say, you know what? Thank you. I got it. But now I have to depend on me to say, okay, now I got to make the decision. If not, I'm going to always be subjugated to someone else's direction. And when I'm getting information from my mentor, it's not for a specific direction. I'm looking for if it resonates with the feeling that I have.
Nice.
And then I like to give my feeling, and they have to like combat me on why this wouldn't work and why it would work. And then from all of that information of their expertise, I still have to make the decision for my business, for my life, that's going to be a great, addition to that. And then when it came to the marriage,
The personal life,
it just stabilizes you. You don't have this issue. Okay, you're pretty, disciplined. But when you think about the decisions that you make, and you know that every decision truly affects someone else, it changes it. Like with your staff, if it affects them, they can quit. You can fire them. You can be like, whatever. But when you're married and you have children and your assets are all tied together, it's just not as easy as saying, hey, I'm done. I'm out this thing. You really have to say, okay, the decisions I'm making, how does it affect the people that I'm in partnership with? And sometimes you make decisions just off the strength that you have to come back and then realize it hurt their feelings, it upset them. Now you got to try to figure out how you can balance your ambitions with their ambitions and your dreams with their dreams, and that discipline of having a base that you can never go out of. And then the last thing is the strongest temptation for young men that are successful are women.
Right.
Yeah, you especially successful, you look good, you got some money in your pocket. It's easy to be distracted. But when you're good in your marriage and you're good in your relationships with your lady, with your spouse, your significant other, it's easy for you to stay focused because that distraction isn't there if you're focused in your relationship. So when you think about success, it's two things that get men. Well, three things: ego, partying, and women.
Ego, partying, and women. Got it. Stay away from them.
But if you think where ego comes from, it's typically through partying and women. You want to show people you got it. You want to show people that it's successful. You want to show people that you're good to impress women at the party that you at.
Fair enough.
And so if you get rid of those distractions, now you really focus on your dreams, it becomes a different ballgame.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. And, through dating and such, I know when you're clicking, when you're feeling good, it multiplies the man you are. You feel like $1 million,
right?
Dog,
you feel good. Especially when you got that lady at the house. Oh, you good? Oh, you're great. I got this. You're good.
Right.
It's a little different when it's opposite, but for the most part, yeah.
No, right. When it is opposite, it can tear you apart. Like you're talking about that emotional drainage and everything. So I'm sure you've got beautiful days and not so good days.
Correct.
As amazing a guy as you are.
And also what marriage does, it teaches you that quitting isn't always the easiest and best option.
Wow.
Marriage teaches you commitment,
right?
Or strong committed relationships or partnerships. They teach you commitment, sticking to it when you don't feel like it, showing up when you don't want to, having the hard conversations, working through it. When you think about the relationship with business, that's the same thing you got to have. We in a relationship, me and you, business. We're going to figure this out. We're going to be arguing. Sometimes I'm going to make the worst decisions. Sometimes you're not going to have my back, but I'm not quitting.
Right.
We're going to figure this thing out. And when we figure it out, it's going to make it all beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'm just thinking back when you're saying that 4.5 years ago or so, we sat together.
Yeah.
And I was just transitioning out of the insurance industry at the time. And honestly, it was because you showed me how much more there was to this world.
Wow.
I feel like my worldview was a little bit limited at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't see another path. But getting to see that was really a game changer. And I remember asking you a question. And I said, when you're looking for someone, how can you tell someone that's going to be quality from someone that, won't do much in business? Because if you invest in the people that aren't going to do much, you're losing that potential return and everything, right? Yeah. And you told me that time ago, you said, I look for people that are humble, that are hungry, and that are smart.
Yeah.
And that equation has stuck with me. I've definitely been using that. But I want to ask, is that the same equation you still use today?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Humble, hungry, and smart is definitely something that I had with the experience that I had. Now, I actually go based off scripture. I'm a God. I love God.
Right.
And there's a place in the Bible where Jethro was talking to Moses about leading this organization. He teaches him three things. The first thing that he teaches him, Hirsch, is you want to find someone who is capable.
Capable. Okay.
Now, I found it ironic that they said capable and not willing, because the definition of willing is I'm eager to do it. Like, I want to help, Hirsch. Like, you got something great, man. I'm there for you. I want to do it. But it doesn't mean that they have the capabilities to get the job done.
Wow. Surprising you say this. I was just looking at the difference between the word able and capable.
Yeah.
And able is someone that can do it, but capable is someone who's motivated and will do
Correct.
it. Right.
And not only motivated and can do it, they have the proficiencies and the competence
Yes.
to get it done.
Sick.
So I'm looking for somebody that already has the competence to get the job done. That's important because now I'm going to be spending all this time trying to figure out, are you just willing or are you just capable? Are you just excited or can you get the job done?
Yeah.
And we typically find things when people they take forever to get something done. They make a bunch of excuses on why they haven't gotten it done. Typically that will let you know that they're not capable of getting it done, because if you were, it doesn't take long. If you know what you're doing, it doesn't take long to get the job done if you know what you're doing.
Right.
And so I want to find someone's capable. The second thing is I want to find someone who has a healthy fear of God.
Wow.
Now within our organization, we have Buddhists, we have Muslim people that are from Islamic faith, we have people that have Christian faith, we even have agnostic. But we need people who have a healthy fear of a higher calling or a higher ordinance, that if I get out of the line, do they believe in karmic retribution? Do they believe that something higher is they have to answer to something that keeps them ethically and morally aligned.
Beautiful.
It's important. And so if I find someone who's capable, but that doesn't have some ethic morality to them that keeps them aligned, despite what I'm saying, despite what you're doing, there's going to be conflict, because now you're your own God. You're your own shot caller. And all of us change the rules to our best benefit if we're our own God, if we don't have anyone else to answer to. But if I believe that there's a God out there that I have to answer to, that means that now I'm conscious about, if I screw Hershey, somewhere down the line, it's going to get me back. Whether it's hell, I don't know, or whether it's I'm going to end up losing double later. Whatever that is, I need someone to have a healthy fear of God. If you have a healthy fear of God, no matter your religious belief, I know that there's alignment that we can find and that you're going to do the right thing most times.
Okay. Now you say God fearing.
Yep.
You don't say God loving.
Yeah.
Do you see any kind of difference between those two things?
I believe to truly love God, you fear him.
You fear him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I fear disappointing God.
Got it.
I fear God looking at me at the end of the day when I pass away and say, you did not become, I don't know you. You did not become who I said, who I planned you on this earth to become. I don't know who you are.
Wow.
I fear that. I fear not becoming and impacting as many people in this world because of my selfish endeavors.
Yeah.
I fear letting God, that's love.
True.
I
No,
fear.
that makes sense.
I fear that. And so I'm not saying the fear of he's going to destroy. I'm scared that if I do something.
Right.
But when I think about my parents, I think about letting them down.
Yeah, that disappointment's heavier than anger.
Yeah. And that brings anger. Like, I invested all this money in you. I believed in you. And then it's like, oh, now you're mad at me. And I fear that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by fear. And that type of fear is nothing but love. I love God so much that I don't want to let him down for all of the blessings and the overflow and the people that he's brought into my life. I don't want to be a disappointment to him, that at the end of my life that he says, I don't know you.
Wow.
Everything you did in this world, yeah, you did some cool stuff to them. But to me, you cut corners, you lie, you lack integrity. You're a man of dishonesty. You're a man that just would do anything for paper. And that's not my son. I can't do that. So I fear.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is someone who doesn't take easy bribes.
Wow.
Someone who's not money motivated.
Wow, that's an interesting one.
Right? So money motivated means I'm not saying that you don't have a focus to get wealthy or to become financially independent. I'm saying that money is the only thing on your mind. If money is the only thing on your mind, that means you would do anything to get money.
Right.
I want somebody that you know that your impact is so great that I'm going to make money. I don't have no issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even when we talk about our goals with the company, we know that with certain clients or with certain products, how much money that's going to make us. We don't care about, we want to get to $100 million or $100,000 this week or $100,000 this day, because everybody's going to take shortcuts just to get to the 100,000 versus me saying, I want 100 people to have this book.
Right.
I want 10 clients that will feel our impact this month. Now we're focused more on the customer and the impact of the customer than we are on the drivers of what the result of doing the service is. I'm going to make money because of the value that I bring. Now, the question is, how am I going to make that money? So if I deal with somebody that takes easy bribes, oh, shoot, Hershey said find 100 million. I'm going to go straight to this guy who kills people.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got an investment fund. Can you give us $100 million? Well, that may not be the way.
Right. And that ties back to point number 2, right?
Yes.
Of being God-fearing and having some kind of like boundaries.
Yes. So, but if that's not there, there's no boundaries, and it's kill or be killed type of environment that I'm building. Now I'm having people that just wants to, hey, we just need to get to 1,000. We just get to 100,000. So what we're going to do, we're just going to act like all of these, this money's real. We're going to raise this money, and then we're just going to keep raising them. And that's how you end up in a Ponzi scheme.
Wow.
Because everyone's just raising money to cover the fact that you didn't do anything with the money in the first place. Right. Because the only thing you cared about is raising the money, not conscious capitalism. Where I do believe in capitalism, but I am conscious of every decision I make, because I know with every decision, it will impact not only the people that I'm pretending to serve, but the people that are serving within my organization. Now, so those are the 3 things. That's a little bit more deeper of the first original 3.
You know what? Like, hearing the difference between the 2, it feels like we're going from this innocent, idealistic, smart, humble, hungry, to you've been screwed over.
Oh yeah, dude.
You've got people taking bribes left and right to where that's now one of your ideals.
Over $3.5 million
of bribes,
cash that I lost.
Wow.
From doing business with the wrong people that did not have the same integrity, that didn't have the right focus, that the only thing that they cared about was money. And those type of people like to prey on people that are idealistic like me, that just want hungry, humble, and smart, and don't think about you know what I mean. And so when you lose the type of money that we've lost, not opportunities, Hershey,
right? Just
$3.5 million in 45 days, Hershey.
Wow, that's heavy.
Now it makes you start thinking, you know what? That money if that money comes with that, I'm fine. You can be smart, hungry, and humble all you want, but I don't know if that humble is we faking.
Right.
I don't know if smart actually means experienced, because you could be book smart but not experience smart. So now smart becomes ambiguous.
Right.
But capable means I know you know how to do it.
I like that. So capable,
yes,
God-fearing, and you want to take a bribe.
Yep.
Now it was really interesting hearing you break down what someone who's capable sounds like. And there's this term I've been coming across recently. It's called having founder market fit.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of this term?
Nope.
So founder market fit is talking about having someone who has worked in the industry in the past in the same role that you hire for. So for example, if you're looking for a CFO, do you want a CFO that has experience in it, or do you want to take someone fresh who has the values you want and forge them into what you need for your business? Right. So through your journey, has there been kind of a type of person you found it's better to force someone, or it's better to look for someone?
It depends. Everybody doesn't have the same capital access as other demographics, right? And so you have to also think about what access do you have access to. And so there's 2 types of capable people that have been there, they can get it done, and capable meaning I know what to do, I just need some time to develop the skill sets that can help me actually execute it.
Got it.
And so I like to develop talent, because the most loyal people are the people that you develop.
Right.
But you have to already have that innate ability already. You already have to have the accounting. So we like to do a lot of stuff based on human design. So based on your human design, I need to know that you're extremely so if I take Amir, Amir is a manifesting generator.
Okay.
So a manifestor generator is not somebody that you would technically want, unless it depends on the leader, that you will want in finance.
Okay. And I'm a little bit familiar with human design. I believe there's generators, which is most of the population.
Projectors.
Projectors are like a small amount, right?
Yep. And then you have manifesting generators.
Yep.
And then you have manifestors.
Yeah, and then there's one more, right? Like reflectors.
Reflectors. That's
right.
that's the lowest. The reflectors at the lowest.
That we don't know much about.
Correct.
Okay.
And so you don't want your reflectors in finance
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
You may want a projector in finance depending on what my human design is.
Okay.
And so when you're even building your organization, you have to know your human design to know what executives you need to have, what type of human design your executives need to have in those positions.
Okay, so I haven't dived too deep. I just know the differences. So what would you say are the main differences between these different types of human design individuals, and what at its core is human design? Is it like astrology?
Right. So it has a lot to do with when you were born, the time you were born. So it has a lot to do with that. And based on when you were born, the time you were born, it'll kind of give you your prototype, right?
Okay.
Of who you are and what you are. Now, we actually have a human design specialist in office.
Nice.
So thank God I don't have to know all the ins and outs about it.
Right.
And she keeps us aligned. So Chandler is actually, she runs our finance department, and she's over business, and she's a business analyst with us. So she does a lot of that, getting us in line. But what I will say, especially, I'm a manifester through and through. No manifester generator, I'm straight manifester.
Yeah.
And so the type of people that I need in my course, so the first thing we look for is we go by human design. Okay. You fit, by human design, you fit this. Now let me go on your experience. Have you had any history at the lower level, mid-level, or top layer level of this experience in this position? If you have not, am I willing to take the risk on investing in this person to do it? Probably not. So I will want you to have some type of experience. Now the next question is, am I willing to invest into the training that this person would need for this position? If the answer is no, then you need to find somebody who already has the experience. But finding someone who already has the experience, you need the money.
Right. It's a vicious loop, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, if I don't have the money, am I willing to part away with equity?
Right.
If I am willing to part away with equity, how much equity? Based on the equity, I'll tell everybody, listen, put a vesting period on all of your equity.
How long of a vesting period typically?
5 years. We have a 5-year vesting period.
That's a strong vesting period.
Yeah, you got to rock with us.
Wow.
And if you want the vesting period to become effective immediately, that means that you need to invest.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Because listen, we're building together. I'm here for the next 20 years. So I'm going to give you 2 years of vesting for you to just stay 2 years. Because it's easy to stay 24 months, Hirsch.
Right.
You can stay in anything for 24 months.
True.
But 5 years?
So you're really putting the golden handcuffs on them, making them treated like a marriage.
Are we in this together or not? Or are you already getting into it thinking about a divorce?
Yeah.
So now if we're committed to that and we got the 5, cool. Now I know that you're committed for success. Wow. So here's your vesting period. Here's the equity that you have. And here are the milestones you have to hit. Wow. Now we're on this trajectory. Now we're on this journey. Now we're building toward that. So it's literally, so you really have to, especially being a CEO, you really have to be a master at reading and understanding people, because people move processes, processes move systems, systems create automation, and through automation, you have a business.
Absolutely.
And everything starts with people. So if I got to know people, I have to understand people to know that. And if you study people enough, you'll know who's capable and who's not.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, super exciting. So we've gone through some of the traits of hires. We've gone through some of your personal life. We've gone through a little bit of your background. So next up, if you had to sit here and really get creative and think about, what are 3 moments that you're proudest of, that you relive in your mind and they get you emotional, right? What are those 3 moments that start popping into your head right away?
Me starting a company with $0 to my name, no car, staying in my grandfather's extra room. I got serious about the insurance industry then. That's when I first went independent. My proudest moment. Making a decision that I'm not this guy. This guy, I'm not this guy.
This is your garage for Apple.
Yeah, I'm not this guy.
Yeah,
I'm somebody.
Yeah,
and I'm going to prove it to myself. Win, lose, or draw.
Sick.
Relationships, no relationships. Friends, no friends. I'm going to be this guy. The second thing I'm most proud of is knowing when to get out of a situation, even when other people are telling me that it's the dumbest decision in my life. There are so many times I walked out of a partnership or walked out of an industry after everyone told me you're stupid, you're not going to make it, but I followed my gut.
Yeah, you follow your gut every time, and
I followed me. Right way. That's right.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the decision I made, the first one. I'm going to be this guy. And if this environment that I'm in is a contradiction to the promise I made myself, I'm leaving, even if I'm leaving by myself.
Sick.
Even if I'm leaving with no money. Yeah. Even if I'm leaving with no staff, no agents, no nothing, with no connections. I'll even start over before I lie to that guy that was lying on that floor. I can show you a picture right here, Hirsch.
Let's see it. Yeah.
I'm going to show you this picture real quick. This is me at this time.
This is the time where you were staying with your grandfather?
Yep. I'm literally lying on the floor outside. I went running and I cried for throughout the whole 30-minute run.
Those hot tears that just give you fire and purpose in you, right?
Yep. Let me see. It's not in this one. It's in this one. Jake's story. I literally have all of my moments. I capture all of my moments.
Yeah.
Here. What date does that say at the top?
Let's see. We are at December 8th, 2015.
I'm laying on the ground. I took a picture here because I was like, this is the last time I'm going to be here at this bottom.
That was your rock bottom.
That was my rock bottom. Wow. And then the third thing is, after losing $3.5 million, 56-something full-time employees, we're one of the highest paid private-owned companies in the country, highest paying to our employees. We just came from crossing, 16, 18 million. Company collapsed from this faulty product from a business partner that screwed us over nearly $4 million.
Oh, now we're talking 16, 18 million a year of revenue.
Yes. Wow. And me not quitting, dog. I'm just a dog.
Yeah.
Me figuring it out with brand assassination, with fighting with the courts to, show that it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. And everything kind of panned out, dog. Yeah. And me still chugging along, keeping our staff. We did have to downsize a lot, but still pushing it along, still buying business, still in the core with it. Because to me, you know what gave me this perspective? I paid a guy, hedge fund manager, $40 billion of assets under management. Give or take, if it's fully true or not, sometimes with real estate, at least real estate, they hike stuff up. Anyway, I paid him $40,000 for 1 hour.
Of mentorship. Got it.
Because this is at the moment I just lost the $3-something million.
Wow, that's sick. So you go through this big loss and then you spend even more money on your personal development.
Because here's the thing.
Hesitation.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What a lot of people fail to realize, all of my companies are debt free. I don't borrow money from the bank. Beautiful. I don't take outside investors.
You're your own bank.
Correct.
Just like the book you wrote.
Yes.
Nice.
So when we took a $3-something million loss,
it
was $3-something million.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay, especially being in my 20s. I was 28, 29.
Damn, that's crazy.
29. I was 29. Just finna turn 30.
The way you carried yourself, I would have never even thought.
No, I was getting my ass whooped, Hershey. Okay, and in that time, I couldn't see past my situation, so I had to invest in someone who potentially could.
That's beautiful.
So $40,000 for 1 hour. This $1 billion hedge fund guy, I knew for a fact that he could give me some type of insight. Yeah. I walk in. I was supposed to have an hour. Ended up spending like 4 or 5 hours with him. No extra charge. Nice. And he paid gave us floor seats to the Utah Lakers game. And so it ended up paying for itself. It was a fortune. Yeah,
sounds like it.
It was great because he loved the story, and he couldn't believe that we built a debt-free business this big so young.
That's incredible.
And so he didn't give me the $40,000 back though.
Well, when you say we, you're saying you went with your wife.
No, with me by myself.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, just you and him.
Yeah, so me and him, he and I.
Yeah.
So we sat down and I'm telling him, he's like, and he's like, quick, like, what's up? What's going on? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling him the story. I tell him everything that happened. And he said, you said that you wanted to build at some point, build $1 billion company. Yep. He said, if you can't handle a $3.5 million loss, what in the hell do you think becoming a billionaire takes?
Sick.
And like stone cold.
Yeah.
And it centered me.
Yeah.
He's like, until you lose $100 to $300 million with thousands of employees, then you can complain.
Yeah, it's all perspective, right?
If you want to be a billionaire or managing $1 billion asset portfolio or whatever.
And almost anyone else in the world could have said this to you and you wouldn't have taken it seriously. But when a man like that who's made it says it, it's like, shit, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like, sense. I mean, well, if you said it that way. So then I'm coming, but I don't have debt. I don't have this. It hurt me more. And he's like, name me one great businessman that didn't have this moment.
There's not a single one.
So who are you to think that you're different? Yeah. What audacity do you have to think that you can just skip these steps?
This is the way he spoke.
Bro, he talking to me like I'm some rag dog. Like I got tears in my eyes.
That's awesome. That's sick.
And this is white man. He don't care about color. He care about work.
Yeah. Sick.
He said, you didn't do your due diligence.
Right.
You skipped steps.
Right.
You put your company at risk.
Now, during this process, while you were getting into this partnership, did you ever feel like you were taking a shortcut?
Oh, yeah, I did.
See, like every time throughout my journey as well, same thing.
I did, dog.
It's like,
I knew it.
As a manifester,
dog.
You're bringing your own loss in a way,
dog.
aren't you?
Listen, man, I said, well, when you make $1 million in less than 2 hours, it make you be like, well, I hope this is right. Like, you don't want to, like, oh, gosh, I hope this is right. I hope this is right. You just, and you feel it.
Yeah,
but that's when the ambition.
Yeah, true.
Of trying to get somewhere that you feel like you deserve to be before your skill sets can actually get you there. To be honest, at the time, my capabilities of a CEO was about $5-6 million a year. Okay. That was my capabilities. I was not ready for a fast growing. Listen, we just took a brand. We just did like this merger, this thing. We did over $11 million in 9 months.
Now, that I find that
I was not ready for that.
Absolutely wild. Thinking back on your journey, right? When you're stepping up, getting to that 5-6 million even.
Yeah.
Did you feel uncomfortable identity-wise with each step?
The reason why I would say no is because we built that brick by brick.
Okay.
So as a CEO, I'm growing with every step.
And you're expecting the income as you go.
And I'm expecting it. I'm expecting losses that are probable, that make sense. Yeah. But when you have supernatural growth, you have to have a executive team.
Right.
But if my team, so if I can handle $5 million as a CEO, that means my C-suite could probably handle $1 to $3 million.
That makes sense.
That means my directors can only handle, maybe $250,000 to $750,000, because with every level, the bridge and gap comes with the level above.
Naturally, right.
Well, if we get to where just one of our brands does 11 million in 9 months, everybody has to accelerate their learning pace at such a rapid speed where all of us can grow at the same pace. And that's never usually the case. It's always the CEO, then we bring them up. The CEO, if I can't bring you up, then I replace this level of leadership with people who can. Yeah. But when you're growing so fast, bro, and it's online money, so it's like free cash, bro, it's ridiculous, man.
So I know Patrick, but David, he has this rule for his executive team, right? Where they have to read a book a month and they have to write a book report. No excuses. He'll fire them if they don't keep up to that. What did you do during that phase, and what are you doing today to facilitate the personal development and growth of your executive team?
The first thing, no, it was too fast at the time.
Okay,
you got to imagine this, Hirsch.
Yeah, there wasn't time to personally develop, right?
We go from doing 3 $300,000-$400,000 a month to $1 million days.
That's insane. Yeah.
You're not ready for that.
Right.
That's why I tell people, like, be careful of wanting to go viral because you'll go up. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gained hastily, you'll lose it just as fast. Right. But wealth gathered little by little grows over time. So what it's saying is that money gained quick, you're going to lose it just as fast because you don't have enough substance to hang on to it.
Right.
But money and wealth built little by little, you're gaining the needed experiences step by step that will give you all of the tools and the skill sets that you need to sustain it. And that type of supernatural, no, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Because you need time to kind of develop those things. And typically when you see, that's why you see like those $1 billion companies. Okay, so I want you to imagine this. At 18 million, you go from 5 million to now your companies are worth, when I said that's 18 million in revenue. So I'm not even including like the valuation. I'm talking about
just today's revenue.
Revenue. I'm not even talking valuation.
Sure. So
let's just say, because we had tech, we had education. So let's just put, and I'm being just even, let's put a 10-time valuation on that.
Okay.
So you saying 18, let's say 10 times, 180 million.
Yeah.
So you going from being worth modestly 10, 15 million to 180 million in 9 months.
That's enough time to make a baby, but that's not enough time to scale up that.
Yeah,
level.
and that's why investors in private equity funds, they put executives in those positions that have been there.
Yeah.
Because with that fast trajectory, you need people that can handle that.
Right.
But when it's just you and your ragtag crew and we all ragtag together, the Bad News Bears doing some incredible stuff, it is hard for that. That's why in the book, You're Not a CEO, I emphasize all of these skill sets you must learn. The next question you asked me, you said, what did I do now? There's a book under there. Get that book under there, Hirsch, the Executive Bible, all the way at the bottom. Way down, okay. Yep. There we go. The BizCo Executive Training Bible. Now, in this Bible right here, Hirsch, is every department, every step, every single thing that you need to build out an entire organization, from research and development to product development and engineering, sales, marketing, branding, advertisement, every department that I learned along the way that I didn't have, that was inadequate, that was inefficient. Now we built in a Bible that all of my team, my executives have to learn everything.
Sick.
And we have a test. Got to test out.
Yeah.
With every single step. Now I know that you're growing and you're developing, and I have metrics I can go by to let me know that you know what this information is, you know what's going on, and I know that we're at the pace that we're growing.
You know, what I love so much about that is so often I see people that when they hit a certain level, they want to keep being the big dog in their company, so they're not willing to share that information. Yeah. But the pace you grow and you learn it, and the confidence you have in yourself that you're going to do whatever it takes to keep learning and growing allows you to share this information and hold people to the standard as well. So it just shows the trajectory you're on in an incredible manner.
I got you. Let me ask you, Hirsch, you believe in God?
I do.
Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen God in the flesh?
I never have, no.
But have you seen his works? Being done all the time, right?
All the time.
So that means that God moves through people to get a job done. So if I want to build a God-like business, that must mean that I must remove myself and have an organization that can move on behalf of me without seeing me.
Yeah.
And God always puts the next man up. If you can't get the job done, it's the next man up. So with Mogul right here, he's the next man up. In the next 3 years, Amir is going to be taking over as CEO of the company. So he's in a gauntlet right now. He has to do every single thing, he got to cook, he got to clean, he got to be the janitor, he got to do the cameras, he got to do podcasting, he got to lead the trainings, he has to do it all. Yeah. It's because I'm developing a succession plan to replace me. That's how you keep talent. If your talent knows that you're willing to move out the way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one thing to say it, but seeing you put it in action, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very sick.
Yeah.
I love that, man. So, okay, going back to things, we touched on our traits for hires, relationships. So let's go a bit into the fantasy sense. So let's say today I opened up a time travel portal right here, and you could walk through to that third painful incident, right?
Yep.
Where you said that the team wasn't able to handle it, but you've grown personally as a CEO, and you were to go back to that situation. What would you do differently? How would you handle it differently? And would you take on the same challenges?
I wouldn't do anything different.
Nothing different.
I thought I would when I was in my darkest place. Bro, my anxiety was so bad, I couldn't even answer the phone.
Wow.
Like, even the people I love most.
Now, was it like fear? Or
no,
like,
it was just like, it was embarrassment.
Got
It was, I can't believe this happened to me.
Right.
It was having to fire people because I couldn't afford to keep the pay. Our payroll was $212,000 a month. That was payroll.
Right.
So now you got to tell people the jobs are no longer there. It's all because I said yes when I saw the red flag, and I could have said no.
That's heavy.
And I say that, good intentions, hell is paved with good intentions. I had good intentions for the company.
Definitely.
But I wanted to jump the steps versus going through the steps. And that's on me. It's hard to bear. And then I had to deal with the fact that I'm also a victim.
Yeah.
Not Jake. Jake is no victim. But I am. And so you're dealing with that too. And so for me, it's like it's processing all of that out. It's still having to have a face for the company. It's still having to be the manifester I am.
Yeah.
Although I don't feel like I have the manifesting juice.
Sure.
It's a hard dichotomy to deal with.
That internal conflict, tearing up your identity of who you are and who you perceive yourself as, and coming out the other side reborn stronger.
Yeah, but the deal is, Hirsch, is that if I didn't take that loss, I probably would have been worse. Because at the time, I was on like a 5-year winning streak. Everything I touched, I felt like I could turn.
Like
everything
Midas.
Listen, there was I told my team, I said, y'all listen, this year we did such and such million. Next year we're gonna do this million. Nobody could see it was possible. Ain't no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Very next year we did that.
Damn, 5 years in a row.
Yeah, every year.
Sick.
And all of my executive team have been with me nearly a decade at some form of fashion, or over a decade, or coming close to half a decade. So these are people that's been around me for a very, very long time.
Wow.
And so when we think about what was going on, I had to take that loss. Right. Because at the level and pace that I was growing, my education had to be, that price I had to pay for education had to be Harvard level.
That makes sense. And it just goes back to how painful it must have been to have to let all those people go, because they believe in you so much. They've seen you running for 5 years. Yeah. You're like a miracle baby to them in a way. And
I started thinking I was a guy, bro.
Wow. So your ego did inflate as well.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Wow.
You can look at something and I'll be like, oh, I could turn that around.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, hey, listen, just do this, and that. It's fine. We'll do that. I know you got that stuff. Put our ABS, our BizCo lion on there. It's just like,
it's gold.
And so God had to be like, okay, all right. So you think you a God? You think you God? I'm gonna give you all the responsibilities of what that is. Wow. Now everyone's gonna come to you for all answers. Everyone's gonna do this. I'm like, yo. Now you're stressed, having anxiety. Now you're drinking more. Now you're trying to suppress those feelings. Now you're like, okay. Now you're not cognitive. Now you're making decisions under being tired, and drunk, and hangover, like all that stuff. It's a compilation of a bad moment waiting to happen.
That makes sense. That's heavy.
Then you want everybody to know that you're winning. So I bought my Rolls Royce cash and my Rolex's cash and my S550. I got more cars than I could drive. We're doing like it for who? For what? Things that's not me. And because I feel like I'm untouchable.
So it sounds like you lost touch with yourself to a degree, or you were
not to a degree.
Yeah,
I lost touch with myself.
Wow. Now, sorry about that. Something that I notice is oftentimes when getting into the swing of business, you shift into the subconscious state.
Yep.
Right. and you stop being conscious about the decisions you're making because you've come up with the system, it's working, and you fall into the swing of thing. And as a manifestor, as you said, it sounds like it's very important for you to stay in the creative, stay at the high level, coming up with the big pivots and the changes to take your business to those next levels. So throughout this journey, when you're trying to stay conscious, have you found yourself falling into these kind of like hurdles of getting stuck, going subconscious?
Actually, bro, it's very weird that, yes, I'm a natural manifester, but a lot of people have undeveloped manifestation, which means they think that being a manifester is just I'm speaking it, I'm in my subconscious, and then everyone else is supposed to fulfill it. Me, I've been working on this so long. When I manifest, I like to plan it out all the way through. I create the systems, the structures, the processes, the procedures. So when I bring it to my team, it's already done. As if so it's like I'm manifesting, I'm there where I'm manifesting us to, and I'm seeing clearly how to get there, and I'm backdating and creating the products and services and processes and procedures. I like that stuff.
I can't wait to read your book. This is exciting.
I can't even express to you like how many people don't really work on their gifts and their designs. They just depend on mere gifting and ability, and they don't work on it. Because to be a manifester but not be able to succinctly put everything in order, it's not a full manifester in itself.
That makes sense. So today, what percentage of your potential would you say that you're hitting on a day-to-day basis?
Probably like 10, 15%. Bro, I ain't touched nothing. Bro, I'm 32, dog. I ain't touched nothing.
Not your life potential, but you know, the man you are today. Let's say there were, like, Jake was reborn. And, you know. He was your age where you are today. What percentage of how great you could be would you say you're hitting, I guess?
If I were to compare myself to the end version of me today, is that what you're saying? Like if I'm comparing myself to who Jake is going to be.
I guess phrasing it like maybe your day to day.
Oh, my day. It just depends, bro.
Okay.
Like some days I need 100% of me.
Yeah.
And other days it only needs 10% of me. Because I need to give my team the space to show up. If I'm always at 100, it doesn't give them the space to show up.
So you retract yourself on purpose to get opportunity.
But while I'm retracting, I'm working. I'm developing that next piece of me that I need to develop. While they're showing up and showing themselves. So I think that energy pool and protecting that energy is extremely important to preserve yourself, because most extremely successful people, they end up dying early. They be sick, having cancer, dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression. It's because if you put anything at 100%, every day,
wear and tear,
bro, you're gonna end up tearing something up. But if you learn how to know when to give 100 and when 10, 15, 20, 30 is needed, you just stay within the pockets of where you need it to allow everyone else to be able to show and shine.
That makes a lot of sense. And different people are born with different levels of potential, right? And to see you tapping out and getting to your cap and pushing forward, that's exciting.
And then there's other times when I'm 100% and it's my 100% makes everyone uncomfortable.
How so?
Because my 100% is extremely demanding, impossible deadlines. And the best part about what I love, I talk about skills. No matter what your human design is, as a CEO, you have to be proficient, competent in all skill sets of entrepreneurship, proficient in at least 3 to 5, and a master in at least 2 to 3 of the skill sets that are needed. And the problem is that I spent so long being underfunded and without income, like without capital, that I've become proficient at majority of the things that most entrepreneurs and CEOs could just be competent in.
Got it.
And so I can outsell pretty much anyone on my team. I can outproduce anyone on my team. I can outcreate anyone on my team. I can outorganize anyone on my team. And this is at the highest level to the lowest level.
Right.
And I pride myself on that. So when I'm on 100%,
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I need this done. I need this done. I need this done.
And the quality's not good enough. Come
Yep,
here,
no,
let
or
me
it's not
handle
fast
this.
enough. It's not this. I don't care about your excuses because my pace. But then I also, when I dial it down, I got to think, okay, I'm not giving if I stay at 100, I'm not giving Amir enough time to develop.
That makes sense.
To get to the place that he can perform at the same pace because I'm I'm hard and I'm aggressive and I'm this. And eventually that doesn't give people the safety and the safest space to be able to make mistakes.
Right.
To fall short.
Yeah.
For teachable moments.
It creates fear to bring up losses. Yeah.
So you don't. So that creates a culture of shortcutting.
That makes sense.
Because I don't want to disappoint you, so I'm just going to produce.
That's a weak foundation.
Was a weak foundation. So we talk about that last place that we worked together. The exit that was received was like 10 times less than what he promised everybody that we was going to get because the environment was an environment of shortcuts, cutting corners.
Yeah.
You know, people paying for people just to be able to build up volume because they just wanted recognition, but it wasn't a place where it was okay for you to fail and lose, and we learn from that. Wow. So when you talk about even the exit, I'm not impressed because the exit that was supposed to be was $1 billion to $2 billion. Right. But your exit was only $250 million.
Now, it sounds like you're a very high-performing individual.
Yeah.
You've got a lot going on in your life. And when you do go to 100, you're burning a lot of fuel and a lot of energy to maintain that.
Yep.
So what does your diet look like day to day? How are you maintaining this kind of energy? And your gym routine, that type of thing?
I intermittent fast every day.
Okay, until like noon or so?
Until sometimes 2 or 3-ish.
Wow. Just water or nothing at all?
Water or coffee.
Okay.
Black coffee.
Black.
Mm-hmm. Water or black coffee. And then other than that, we cook at the office a lot. So a lot of like salmon. What else, Amir?
A lot of salmon, sometimes chicken, but mostly like fish and
Fish, chicken, healthy options, vegetables, and then my wife cooks pretty much every night.
Nice.
So I got a lot of high energy every day.
Yeah.
Now we do, when we go eat out or we have meetings, of course you kind of like have bad foods or whatever. But when I'm fasting throughout the beginning of the day for that long, if I go have a bad meal, it's not really that hurtful for me because I know my body knows I'm accustomed to fasting until about 1, 2 o'clock. So like this morning, the only thing I had was a couple of bites of that fruit that's right there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I had 1 coffee, I had 2 bottles of water, and what time is it now? It's 2:47.
That's it. So you remind me a lot of Andrew Tate. He recently said that all he has during his working hours is coffee and cigars.
Wow.
Because he likes the feeling of hunger because it keeps him kind of humbled and working hard.
Yeah, he too deep for me.
Too deep.
It just started off first of all, I didn't have enough money to be eating like that when I first got started.
Right.
So you had to like stretch it to the evening because all of the appointments were in the evening time. That's just the truth. Right. And then you get extremely busy. Then your body just gets used to that. And then you found out later it's intermittent fasting. I ain't that deep, bro. It's like that's just the pace I'm at. And it ended up being a healthy pace. So
and it's different for everyone. People have different diets or things that work for them. And everyone's a bit different.
Yeah, or else I would have been about 400 pounds by then.
Wow, man. Well, it sounds like it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have gone through all of this. And I wanted to actually give you a little gift here.
Okay,
as well.
Hirsch. Come on, Hirsch with the gift.
Yeah, so right over here, Patrick Bedavid is who I got this from.
Okay.
For his company, he creates...
Pat is cool, bro. Pat is amazing.
I'm a big fan.
Okay.
But he makes these playing cards for everyone in his company.
Okay.
And it has their statistics on it.
Okay.
Like their performance and how they're doing for the year. And, people can compare and they can look at those cards. Now, what we've done for our organization is a little bit different. It's got those stats. It's got that info. But we've used AI art to make really cool pictures of people.
Okay.
And it's an actual game. You can fight the cards against each other.
What?
So this is the first deck we've ever created.
Okay.
We're making an annual deck right before we go out to the Vault conference to see Patrick in person.
Okay.
So I'd like to give the first deck ever to you.
What? What, Hirsch?
And we'll see what some of the cards look like live.
I'm excited.
Yeah, they just came in yesterday.
Okay.
So perfect timing.
They just came in yesterday?
Yes, sir. I haven't even opened them or looked at
Okay,
them. So
okay.
this is exciting.
Okay.
Now, on the other side,
Okay.
you'll see the first card you see
Okay.
is our values, because that's the most
Servant
important thing.
leadership. Our word is our bond. High standards. Deal directly. We are family. Oh, this sounds like our values.
Right there.
Wow. Okay, so how do you play? Okay, the rules. You shuffle it. Take 5 cards from the top of your pile. Okay. Compare symbols. Okay.
Yeah, it's like rock, paper, scissors, basically.
Okay.
So you play a type of card, and you need to get rock, paper, and scissors. If you win, you get to keep that card. There's me. You can see all of our executive team.
Okay.
Some beautiful art on each of the fronts. It's so cool to see in person. It's my first time seeing it, too.
Oh, my gosh, dude. And I get the
Gorgeous.
first one?
The first one ever.
Oh, Hershey.
It's so sick.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
There's
and
Tom Ellsworth. Yep.
Oh, my gosh, Tom.
Then on the back of the cards, if you want to show those off, you've
Okay.
got statistics of each person.
Okay.
You know,
So,
there's actually a bunch of those. You can keep.
okay.
you know,
Oh, yes,
show those off, but-
networking. Oh, like the values.
That's right.
Like how good they are. So it teaches you how to know your staff, your team.
Yeah, and everyone knows who everyone is dynamically through these cards.
Dude, this is genius.
Right?
Oh, and you
Just
got
throw
this from
Bisco
Pat?
on there and you can do it too. Yeah, so he used to make baseball playing cards because he has a big passion for that type of thing.
Wow.
Now,
you got Adisa?
that's right. Our favorite person. So because you mentioned human design, I'm going to tell you a little cool kind of Easter egg to these
Okay.
cards. If you look around the people's pictures on the back, there's a glow around each of them.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
And there's a card in there that
It's a
has
different color.
birthstones.
I did see that.
That glow is according to that person's birthstone.
Wow.
Got a lot of fun
Wow,
stuff. in there.
Hirsch. This is cool, bro.
Right, man?
Y'all made this from scratch?
That's right.
Thanks, bro.
You got it.
Thanks, dog. This is good. This is good.
Every year you'll get a new one.
I'm so freaking proud of you, man.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
so freaking proud of you.
But, you know, I truly appreciate your time here. I've learned a lot from you. And, you know, we want to sign out with saying, you know, form your own opinions, level up daily, and enjoy the process. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this journey of learning with Dr. Jake Taylor Jacobs. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Take care.